All right. I cannot believe it is July, or I don't know if y'all in Mississippi say July. Christy, I know you're on. Do y'all say July or do you say July?
We say July.
Okay. Who is it that says July? I feel like I have a friend that says it that way, and I always it makes me smile. But good. Well, here we are, and we are turning the corner on the year, and I really feel like I don't know and maybe if you're my PS coach, maybe you've already heard me say this, but and I've said this in a few different places, so this might be a slight repeat, but I feel and I know this is going to sound cliche because of Shift Shop, but I feel a shift in the network. I feel a shift just within like Beachbody in general. I feel a shift coming within our team. So things, I don't know if y'all realize, have changed a lot over the last year. We have, like last year this time, we were mostly dependent on the DVDs, right? We had Beachbody On Demand, but it wasn't didn't have near the place in our business as it does now. It's at the forefront now. And so I'm just so proud of Beachbody in general, because the transition, although not perfect, has been pretty seamless. And to kind of look back at where things were last year as opposed to where they are right now, like, man, we have done an amazing job making that transition. It obviously had to happen, right? Businesses change. And so you can either, and this is a good takeaway for y'all as far as your business is concerned, because things change and you either change with it or you get left behind. And so we could have just stuck with the DVDs, but we would have, just like Blockbuster, right? And things like that would have gotten left behind. And so that would have really been unfortunate, because we helped so many people and had the potential to help so many more. So all of that being said, we've been in this transition period of kind of shifting how we do business, and the whole business model itself has changed. And so now I really feel like we've got a grasp on what this looks like and how best to use it in our businesses and how best to use it and help other people. And so now that we have that, then I feel like we are at this point where we can move forward and we can start to really build on the momentum of that. And that, I'm just talking about that. I'm not even talking about what's coming down the pipe at Summit that we don't even know about yet. So we know about Shift Shop, we know about the UK launch, but there are other things that we don't know about that we will learn about when we are there. And so anyways, I have this anticipation of a shift. And so I'm excited about what that's going to look like for all of us. So I've been reading Lisa Bevere, and I know some of you guys also read her books. This honestly is the first book I've read of hers. And I just happened to run across the title, and it's Lioness Arising. So you probably have seen me posting about it. I'm reading it with my PS group. I'm also reading it with the ladies in my challenge group. And this book is amazing because it really captures the heart behind Fit Revival. Like, if I were to just wrap up the vision behind what we do, this book really does that, because it's been very validating for me to listen to her write in this book and just share her heart, that she believes that, like, literally there is this army of women rising up to do big things for him, which is exactly, y'all have heard me say that a million times. And so to hear her say that, it lights my soul on fire. And so anyways, if you don't have anything to read right now, I really feel like this is one that you should pick up and read. So this is a quote from it. I took away my normal points. Our word this year is fearless, but instead of talking about those this month, I wanted to just give you this. It was also in the Monday memo, but it says, if you forget your fierce and fearless nature, then all who look to you for protection and guidance will be at risk. And I was like, man, that is a big deal, right? That almost feels like a heavy burden, but it doesn't have to be. And so I think sometimes when we get stuck in being fearful, then when we aren't able to move past that, then we're really risking what we've been put on this earth to do. And so in that aspect, it's not about us. It is about so much more than that, right? It's about furthering God's kingdom. It's about being who you were created to be so that you can do that. And the only way for you to be who you were created to be is for you to just own that fiercely. And so anyways, I'll go into some more of that here in just a minute, but this really just sets the tone for what we're going to talk about. This is our slide with next steps. We're starting our Business Starter Academy on Wednesday. So if you have new coaches, if you have, or maybe you're somebody that just needs a fresh start, then definitely join us or join us with your new coach so that you can mentor them along. I'm going to move on to the next slide here. So this is your save the date slide. You might want to screenshot this so that you have it. But you guys know we had a sneak peek today. I've already said Business Starter Academy starts on Wednesday. The Shift Shop launch is next week on the 12th, so that will drop into your Beachbody On Demand and you will have it. July 13th, the August Teen Cup registration opens. It will close the last day of July, and then the Teen Cup, the August Teen Cup, will start that first day of August. So they have changed the rules a little bit. Normally, it's only 1 diamond per team, and now it can be up to 2 lifetime diamonds per team. And so that is a change from the norm, but it still is only 1 star diamond per team. So you could potentially have like a star diamond and a diamond, and then 3 other coaches. But Team Cup is where you pair up with 4 other coaches and you work together and you push together. It's a push month is what it is. And you push each other and you help each other and you rally, around each other, and you help as many people as possible, and it's fun. You can win, Beachbody always gives away fun prizes and things like that. But the real benefit is that it moves your business forward. So there's that. You guys know Coach Summit's coming up next week. Very exciting. I'm going to see many of you there, many of you for the first time. Some of you, we've known each other for a while, but regardless, it will feel like a big family reunion. And so if you're not coming with us, then just know that you will have the opportunity to buy a ticket for next year during Summit next week. So they always put the tickets for the next Summit on sale once this Summit is done. Does that make sense? So usually the cheaper price is, the earliest you can get the ticket, the better, because you will pay less. Unless you are going to earn a Success Starter ticket, and then it's free. So there's that. And remember, Success Starter is if you are a new coach and in the first few months of your business, if you reach Success Club 3 out of the first 4 consecutive months of your business, then you earn a free ticket to next year's summit, and you get to come for free. You still have to pay for your housing and things like that. So we are going to host an Emerald Academy, and that is going to kick off on July 17th. We'll run it for 3 days. This will be right after we get back from Summit, and it will also be on the heels of Business Starter Academy. So once that's done, that following Monday, Emerald Academy starts. It's perfect timing, because the other thing that's going to happen is I'm going to be hosting, where did I put that? Drop down to where that second to last thing there where it says July 12th through July 19th. We're going to do our What is Coaching event a little bit differently in July. So for the past several months, we didn't do one this month, but before that, we had several that were on the Fit Revival public page. This one is not going to be on there. This one is going to be in a closed group on Facebook. And so I'm going to open that group up on the 12th, which is next week. And the great thing about me opening that up next week is that we're basically going to kind of have like this live dynamic to sharing while we're at Summit. And so what you get to do here is invite your prospective team members, people you want to join your team, to just come hang out with us in that group, and they can like see what we're doing at Summit. I'm going to have some leaders on this team scheduled to just go live at various points during Summit to share their story and just what they're doing. And so it's going to add a really fun component to this like tool that we have to share this business and our team with others. And so if you're growing your team, this is an amazing opportunity for you to leverage. So make sure that you are inviting people to join your team and to come to this group and check things out and hang out with us while we're at Summit. And then when we get home, the 17th, 18th, 19th, we'll kind of run like that normal, like I'll be giving all the info, the like details, right, about coaching, so that they have that, and then hopefully by the 19th, they'll be ready to sign up. Okay, so that's that. July 17th, we again are going to kick off, and here's what I'm leaning towards right now, and it's been kind of a hard decision. I actually tweaked this right before this call because I can't, I'm having a hard time deciding. But I'll just tell you my struggle with these groups. Sometimes we have a lot of groups, and that's why we did Sean Week on the team page, so that there wasn't like another group to check into. So I think what we're going to do for Shift Shop is, instead of another group, we're going to have a team-wide Instagram Shift Shop challenge. And so our hashtag will be #TeamFR. I tried TFR, but it brought up some really weird things that I'm like, I don't think that's us. So we're not going to use TFR. We're going to use Team FR, but I'm going to give you like a posting schedule for each week of Shift Shop. And what I'm really, really trying to help you guys with is sharing your story. So as we are shifting with your fitness, I also want you to shift with how you are approaching your business. And so this is going to help you do both of those things. Deal? I think it's going to be fun. It's not going to be an extra group. I think many of you are doing Shift Shop in your challenge group. If you don't have a challenge group to plug into, then certainly ask me or ask another leader on this team. We would be happy for you to join us. But instead of creating a new group, I think we're going to have some fun on Instagram instead. Does that sound good? Those of you that are on? Are you alive?
Sounds good.
Thank you, Melody. All right. So there is a post-summit surge that will happen on the 19th. That's a Wednesday. It will be on the TBB Coach 411 page, so hosted by Carl. Make sure you check that out. Normally, we have like a Super Saturday or Super Sunday that follows the weekend after we get back from Summit. And so instead of that this year, they took our, what do I say? Not advice, but our feedback. And, they kind of understand that is a lot, right? So if you go to Summit, then it's kind of hard to make it to a Super Saturday when you've been away from your family 2 weekends in a row. And so instead of that, we're plugging into this post-Summit surge on July 19th. All right? All right, so screenshot that page so that you have it, because there is a lot going on this month. Okay, so I am excited about this shift. And you heard me mention at the beginning of this call, after I gave you that quote from Lisa Bevere, that the shift is really not about you. And so this has been something that I have been dwelling on and thinking about and praying about. And I think that is what lights the fire for me, and it really helps me not lose my motivation, whether it's with my fitness or with my business. Knowing that pushing play is going to set the tone for somebody else to push play. Knowing that by moving my business forward, I know it sets the tone and it opens the door for somebody else to move theirs forward. Knowing that when I reach out and invite somebody to join my group or my team, it opens the door for somebody else to do the same thing. It is a trickle effect. So that invitation is not about me. And so I think that's where we have to like make a shift in our thinking, is instead of acting out of like fear and just like kind of clamming up, we have to be fearless and know that when we send out an invite or when we share something scary on our page about our story, that it's not about you. It's almost selfish to keep it to yourself. Instead, when you're sharing, it is not, it is helping set somebody else free. Does that make sense? And so I'm going to talk to you guys tonight about why and how I think we can shift in these areas. So I've already gone over this. It's not about you. You've all probably seen that quote, and I don't know who said it, but someone somewhere is waiting on you to do what you've been called to do. And only you can do that, right? Maybe it's somebody in your family. Maybe it's somebody you don't even know yet. Whatever. Maybe it's both. But surely somebody somewhere is waiting on you to kind of get it together and do what it is that you've been called to do. So don't wait, do. I feel like this makes it more of an obligation instead of a, well, maybe I'll see how it works out. It's not negotiable. And I think the other part of the why is that we have a big vision on this team, a big vision to help a lot of people. So I'm not here to just help one person. And I don't want to downplay that because that's significant, okay? One life is significant and it's important. But I'm not here to just help one person. I'm here to help a flippin' lot of people, a lot. And the only way I can do that is if I have a team of other people who are on the same page, with the same vision, doing the same thing. And so with that, I don't want you to play small. So I don't think God plays small, and I don't think us as a team needs to play small because well, there's another quote somewhere too about when you dream small, it's almost like you're shortcutting what God is able to do, right? He is a big God. And so I think that he gives us permission to dream big and to not play small and to do what we can, and he's going to do what only he can. Okay? So I want us to shift in why we share and to know that your fears you need to chuck them to the side because somebody's waiting on you to move forward. And then I think we need to shift on how we share. So this has a lot to do with what I posted earlier about sharing your story, and then the National Wake Up Call was also about the same thing. And so I've been sharing with a couple of people, with Stephanie. I talked to Jill Halton today for a long time, and I said, I think what separates the struggling coach from the coach that is having success is that the coach that is having success is willing to share her story consistently. And I want to say that quality sometimes is better than quantity. I would rather see one post per day where you are sharing, breadcrumbing your story than 3 to 5 posts that are just kind of like, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, y'all, because I love you, but I think sometimes what we have been doing for so long has now become white noise. So if you're just throwing out a workout picture, or maybe you're saying never miss a Monday or drink your water, those are all good things to share, but I think they've been shared so much that people are just kind of over it. They already know that. Tell them something they don't know. Share your story. Just like she said on the National Wake Up Call today, what is the story behind that workout? What happened? Did Sean T tell you to throw something away? There's a workout, right, where he tells you to just throw it away and throw it away. Well, what is it that you threw away during that workout? Okay? And I think that when you're sharing your story behind a workout, and it doesn't even have to be about a workout, and that's the thing too. I think sometimes we hide behind our workouts, we hide behind our shake, because it's so much easier to post about those things, right? It's super easy. It's not risky. But it gets lost in translation because so many people are posting the same thing and it's easy. Instead, it's much more difficult to sit down and craft a post that has something to do with your story. Maybe it shares a struggle, maybe it shares a victory, or both. But really, who are you? What do you want and what lights you up? And I think that is what you have to get back to sharing, because it's those things that, again, will help set people free. They've seen the workout photos. They've seen them. And you can still post them, but I think you need to start sharing your story along with it, okay? So, again, I'm not just saying ditch everything that you've been doing. I think what you've been doing has set the tone for what you need to do now. So what you've been doing is good, but what we need to shift towards is what's going to make you great and help more people. I'm reading another book. Now I can't even remember the name of it, but it's blue on the outside. I can't remember. I've put it down over the last week and a half because I've been reading the other book. Where is it? I don't know where it's at. Sorry. But he talks about, like, usually, like, the things in a business or in a company that causes the biggest shifts, the biggest difference, what creates a 10-time company, so a lot of times is not like this big innovative change. It's small tweaks along the way, okay? And so consider this a tweak. We're not throwing everything that you know how to do as a coach out the window. We are making tweaks. Learn, do, tweak. That is what it is like to be in business. That is what it is like to be a coach. If you only learn and do and it stops there, you will not have a business. You have to make the tweaks, and then you have to keep learning and doing and then tweaking again. That is the cycle. So when you share your story, it builds trust with people. You've heard me say, know you, like you, trust you. If you are out of your warm market, I get it. I've been doing this for 6 years. It is your job to warm up your cold market. And the only way that you can do that is by sharing your story. Okay? And maybe sharing your story is like the funny things that happen. Y'all know I am like kind of deep and dark. I'm always going to the deep side, but I'm not funny. Like, I'm only funny when I'm trying not to be funny. And so, most of my posts are going to be more deep. They're not usually funny, but maybe like it needs to showcase your personality. If you go to Mandy Dorsey's page, she's hilarious. Okay. And that it showcases who she is. The best thing about this business is that you get to figure out exactly who God made you to be, and you get to run with it. So why would we hide behind the workout and the shake? They're amazing, but there's also 400,000 other coaches doing the same thing, and that is not what God put you on this earth to do. He put you on this earth to share what it is He is doing in your life, okay? So I also think that getting to be yourself, it just keeps it simple, right? Just share yourself. Like, that's so simple to me. I know it gets hard and it gets messy, but at the end of the day, it really keeps it more simple. And I can't even see what I wrote there. Whoops. I think we can also shift where we share. And that's why I think that having a team-wide Shift Shop challenge that is centered around Instagram is going to be fun. It's going to be different. It could totally bomb, but not if we all jump on board, right? If you're only sharing on Facebook, I think that you have to maybe ask yourself a few questions about how you can change that up. I'm not saying that you have to be on Instagram. I'm not saying you need to be on Snapchat. I can't even figure Snapchat out. I'm sure a lot of people do great with it, but it's not for me. So my point in this is that maybe you need to get on the phone more. Maybe you need to schedule some calls. Maybe you need to schedule a lunch date or a coffee date. Or maybe you need to schedule a 3-way call with your upline. And I'm going to talk about what that is here in just a second. So I know Devin has started a fit club in her neighborhood, and I love when I see, like on Saturdays when she's been to the fit club or she's hosted, and the biggest smiles ever on her face, on the people's face that go. So it just gives me the biggest smile knowing that they are having so much fun and enjoying each other and getting to be face to face with each other, which is sometimes a rare thing as far as our world is concerned and just social media in general. So I just encourage you to think about some different ways that you can be relational with people and get to know people and warm up those people that might be in your pulled market. And then of course, I'm encouraging you, especially this month, to lead with the best thing that we have. And this is, you know, if I could also title this, Shift What You Share. We are headed to Summit next week, as you guys know. And when we get there, you're gonna learn a lot. Your brain's gonna be very full of all kinds of amazing information to take home and implement. There's going to be announcements that are going to excite you, that you're going to take home and want to implement as well. But what I see happen so much of the time, because I know it's happened to me, and I know that if I get overwhelmed, that you probably get overwhelmed too. So I'm just kind of heading this off before it even starts. So instead of getting overwhelmed to the point of inaction, next week when we have all of this amazing stuff that's happening in our business, let's just focus on helping 2 people join our team this month. I think that makes it, again, super simple. So if you catch yourself getting overwhelmed, whether it be next week or 2 months from now, focus on one thing. And that one thing is adding 2 new coaches to your team. Because the business and the ability to be a coach on Team Fit Revival, in my opinion, is the best thing that we have to offer somebody. So start there and then default to a challenge group invite. If they're not ready to be a coach, then say, hey, no problem. I'd love to open up an invitation for you to join my challenge group. It's an amazing place, you know, for you to just connect and work on you. Okay, and I'm gonna go through the script here in just a minute so that you kind of know what that process looks like. But I think that as a team, collectively, we are awesome at inviting to challenge groups. We know how to do that, like with our hands tied behind our back. We get it. So the real shift is going to happen in this team when we learn, and I highlight the word learn, is because anybody can learn. I was not good at inviting people to join my team. And I probably had the most room to grow in this area for the longest period of time. But the shift happens when we learn to grow into those areas that maybe we're not quite experts at yet. And so that is why I am trying to help you guys focus on this one thing that I truly believe will help you move things forward at a quicker pace. If we want to impact more people, then we need more people to join our team who are willing to do the same thing. Okay? So, all right. Are y'all hanging with me here? I'm going to, I should have already had this pulled up. Hang on just a second. Let me pull up my script here. And this is already loaded for you in, hang on a second. Apparently I can't do more than one thing at a time here. Okay. So if you, hang on. If you came to Dallas for the last Super Saturday, Corey Abraham talked about some of this. But I have tweaked it a little bit to include a few things that I would like for us that I think will help us. So when you're asking somebody to join your team, here are a couple of examples. I really like this bottom one here, and it just says, hey, you came across my newsfeed and I just spent a few minutes talking your post. You could put an LOL right there. I love the way you lead. I couldn't help but wonder, I'm working with several, and maybe if that person is a teacher, if they're a personal trainer, whatever they are, you would put that there, just like you. Expanding their reach to help more people live healthier lives. The extra income is a blessing to pay for kids' activities, save for college funds. You might want to tweak that depending on the person you're talking to. I have no idea if this would be a good fit for you, but I just have to ask, based on your passion for, if they're a nurse, you might put helping others. Have you considered being a coach like me? If they say no, you say wonderful, no worries. If you ever change your mind, know that I'll be here. If they say yes, you say great, fantastic. I think you would be excellent because, and then you tell them why. They would be specific. If I sent you information about it, would you have about 8 minutes to watch this video? Or 17 minutes? There's 2 videos here. The first video is just a generic Beachbody one. And then the 17-minute one is one that is from Teen Fit Revival, and that's me talking for 17 minutes. The only thing, this is a little bit older video from last year, so it doesn't really hone in on the All Access Challenge pack, so you'll just have to clarify that for them. We do have a coach preview event coming up, so you guys know that I'm going to kick that off on the 12th. So that's another, we call these third-party tools. So you could invite them to that. So you would say something like, if I invited you to an online event my team is hosting so that you can get some more info, would you be able to attend? It's going to be, you'd have to tweak that here because it's not just a couple hours long. We're actually going to do it for a week. So anyways, there's some examples for you there. A step 3 would be the follow-up. Hi friend, have you had a chance to review the information I sent you? If they say no, they're probably not interested. You're gonna follow up with them one more time, but chances are, they might have just said yes, that they, were interested before just because they didn't want to say no the first time, but it's okay. So you just say, no worries, life gets super busy. When do you think you'll have a chance to watch it? And you kind of go from there. If they say yes, you say, okay, great. What did you like best about the video? And the reason we ask this question is because people have a tendency to gravitate towards the negative, right? So instead of saying, okay, great, did you have any questions? That's kind of a closed-ended question. So you want them to remember what they liked about it. And what they liked about it is going to steer your conversation from that point forward. If they still haven't watched the video, don't waste time. Step 5, and this is where you're qualifying just their level of interest. So you've already asked them what did they like best about the video. Again, this answer focuses your whole conversation. So if they said, I really love, the thought of being in community with other women, then your whole conversation is geared towards that. If they said, I really love the idea of, making an income for my family, then your whole conversation from that point forward is geared towards that, okay? And then question number 2 is, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your level of interest? If they are below a 5 or a 6, then you're gonna ask them, what can I do to get you to a 5 or a 6? You want people to have questions, so that's good. If they're a 5, 6, or 7, that's really good. And you may get, some questions here and there, so this is not all gonna just go like this. But question 4 is, how much do you need to make per month for this to be a great fit for you? For most people, it's around $1,000 a month, but this will really ground your conversation, and it will help your prospective team member gain confidence in your ability to help them accomplish their goal. Question 5, how much time are you willing to invest a week to achieve that? Because you want to make sure that, they're not wanting to make $1,000 a month in their first month, by working 5 hours a week. That's not feasible. So it puts you and this person on the same page. Question 6, how long would you be willing to invest that time to make that money? And so if they're willing to invest 10 hours a week, 5 days a week over the course of 6 months, then you definitely are going to be able to help that person accomplish their goal. And so you would say, if I gave you a plan to make X amount a month, working X amount of hours a day, and you agreed to do that for a year, would you execute on that plan? And if they say yes, and say, okay, great, then let's get you enrolled. And then you move forward. And if they're not sure at that point, here is where the 3-way calls come in. And I know, for so long, I'm going to be completely honest with y'all, the first 3-way call I did ever was last week. So when we talk about shifting and getting outside of our comfort zone, I'm with you. Like Monique, I don't know if she's on this call right now, but she asked me to do a 3-way call with her, and I was like, oh man, I've never done one before, but okay. And so her and I got on the phone with this, girl that she had invited to be part of her team. Her name was Dawn. And Dawn, if you're listening, we had a great chat, all 3 of us, and it was fun, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of fun. And I got to know Dawn, and Monique and I got to really help her and figure out if this is a good next step for her. And then now she's part of our team, and it was a great step that we took there. There is a great training from Corey on 3-way calls that is already loaded in our team site under resources. So I'll also post it to the team page. But before you do a 3-way call, you're going to want to watch that video, and you're both going to want to watch that video. Okay. So for example, say Melody and I were going to do one. I would say, okay, Melody, you need to watch this call. I'm going to rewatch it, because you're going to want, before you get on a 3-way call, Melody's going to need to send to me a little bit of information about the person that we're going to be talking to, so that we're all prepared for the call. Okay. And again, if the answer is no, then you just thank them for their honesty and let them know it's okay. But then don't leave it at that. Ask them to be part of your challenge group. So you've asked them to be part of your team, you discussed it, you finally gotten to you want to move them through that funnel as quickly as possible. So move them through that conversation, and you either get to a yes or a no. If it's a no, then ask them to be part of your challenge group. Okay? Hang on a second. I'm trying to move to the next thing. All right. So that is how to lead with the best thing that we have. And again, if you go to the team site and you also go to Team Builder Academy and you go to the lesson that talks about inviting to your business, all of this information, Corey's call, those scripts, all of it is right there. There's a whole lesson on it. So I'm not going to do any more on it tonight, but I wanted to just briefly go over it and then give you some resources for you to study, so that you are willing to make that shift and do some things that maybe make you uncomfortable, but I guarantee you will grow in the process. So again, our June focus is simple. Using the tools provided, add 2 new coaches to your team, and then you teach them to do the same thing. And if you do that over and over and over, then maybe you can join us in Rosemary Beach. I didn't tell you I was going to say this tonight. But we are going to have our second retreat at Rosemary Beach. Our last one was this year in January at Rosemary, and so it's going to be there again. There's going to be some other teams that are there this time. My coach Stephanie, her team will be there. Lauren Duke's team will be there, and Joy's team will be there. But we'll all stay in our own house. And so everybody, it's a really fun community, and all the houses are like right next to each other. And so anyways, It's going to be an amazing time. Jeff Hill from corporate is already scheduled to come out and do some training for us, which is a big deal. And so he's going to be there. And anyways, it's going to be a really awesome week together. This is a Diamond Leadership Retreat. And I want you to think about making that shift. Instead of thinking, well, maybe, we'll see. I hope I can be there. No, you decide. You decide right now as you're listening to this, if you're listening to it now or if you're listening to it at a later date, but you make a decision and you say, I'm going to be at that retreat. And it's open to every female coach in the Team Fit Revival downline. So whether you're my personally sponsored coach or not, you are invited to attend. There are qualifications. So those who achieve Success Club 5, it looks like I have a typo there. Those who achieve Success Club 5 out of the last 6 months of the year and are paid diamond rank in December will receive an invite to attend. You are responsible for your own housing and expenses. I will say a lot of the girls drove last year, and so that made it super easy. It's fun to carpool and do that. If you're trying to cut costs as far as travel is concerned. And then also, what was I going to say? Oh, the housing. We'll know more about that as time goes on, but the best we can project right now is that it looks to be between like $250 and $350 per person for all 3 nights. And so beyond that, that's what we have. And again, I'm really excited. We had an awesome time this past January. And I say all of this is because the June focus is to add 2 new coaches to your team per month. Many of you already have 2 coaches. Maybe you have 3 coaches or 4 coaches or more. So if you continue to do that month by month by month, and you're teaching your coaches to do the same thing, you'll be there, right? You have to start now though. So start now and then work towards it every single month with consistency. And that's it. Any questions about that? Oh, y'all, this is me trying to be funny. I used to be a cheerleader in middle school and high school, and there was a cheer about like shoot for 2. Melody, do you remember something like that? Like a basketball cheer?
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to find a GIF that will do that. But I couldn't find one, so this is as good as it gets right here. Just for y'all. But okay, so talk to me before we get off here. It's doable, right? 2 coaches a month? Like if you're solely focused on that, and if you're inviting to the business more often and defaulting to like your challenge group, I know that's a shift. It's a tweak, right? It's not let's throw everything out the way we've been doing it. I'm just asking us to become the expert in inviting people to join your team in your business. And the only way we do that is to really focus in on that and hone in on that. And I think it's a perfect month to do that, because July is crazy with like y'all are going to see. Melody, you know already, it gets a little crazy after Summit, and you feel a lot of like sense of you got to do all this stuff after you get home and you're not sure where to start. So anytime you start to feel like that, just go back to this. Because when you start talking to people about the business, it encompasses all of the innovative new things that Beachbody is offering. All of the new announcements a new coach gets to take advantage of, right? So why wouldn't we hone in on this right now? Any thoughts? Are y'all still with me? Come on. Heather, Melody.
I'm here.
Okay. When I start, and tell me this too, when I start talking about inviting to the business, and then when I start talking about qualifying for a retreat and things like that, a lot of times, like when I post about stuff like that, it's crickets. And so I'm trying also to kind of cut that off before it starts, because I think what happens is we get fearful of making that commitment so far in advance. And so I feel like anybody on this team, I don't care if you're a new coach today, I think every single person has the ability to be invited to that retreat. And so,
well, what I do when we have incentives is I don't think about 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, or however long out it is. It's this month. I'm going to do what I need to do this month to stay on track. And then I'm going to do what I need to do this month to stay on track, and just take it 1 month at a time.
that's so good.
Because 6 months is overwhelming. Oh, Success Club for 6 months. I mean, that's overwhelming.
Yes.
But for 1 month, it's not. So.
Right. Okay. Good. Well, thank you for sharing that. I think that's great perspective. So, and I want all y'all with me in January. So, all right. Well, I'm going to post some additional things just about the retreat and things like that, both in the team page and then in some other places as well. But if you guys have questions or need anything, then let me know. But I'm going to suggest that, if it scares you to lead with the business, to go to the Team Builder Academy tab, go to that lesson about inviting to the business and go over it, okay? Go over it and over and over it until you maybe feel a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, you may not ever get that pit out of your stomach before you send out the invite, but that's okay. That's normal. So anyways, I hope this helps. I hope this helps simplify things for you this month, but also while it simplifies things, I hope it's also a push to push you to a different place and shift your business. So that's it. Love you guys.
Love you too. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you.
Thank you.